Okay, so this one is a square root transformations. I'm going to go through and work all the problems that I've already done with most of you, just in case you missed a day or you were wondering about an explanation to how I worked a problem. So I'm going to start with number 1. This is 5-1 for the transformations. So I was mentioning, a thing I saw with number 1 was students not putting in the equation correctly into y1. So what I mean by that in y1, you are putting in the square root of x minus 4 minus 4. That's not what the equation's saying. The equation's saying you have the square root of x minus 4, and then you see the little arrow. You're going to press the arrow key, and it starts typing outside. So now you're going to do minus 4 on the outside. So now you can see that it starts way down here versus at 8-0. So then for the table, what you want is to see all those errors. And then that first x value that does not give you an error, that tells you that's your first point, 4, -4. So that point is important. It tells you about the domain and the range. It tells you a little bit about the transformations. It tells you a lot about the function. So I want to find a few points on here. So I can graph it. So I pick points like 4, -4, 5, -3, and 8, -2. I kind of messed it up, but that's how it looks. So for the transformations, I have to think about the parent function. It's the transformation from the parent function. The parent function is a square root of x, which starts at the origin. And so I'm not, like, there's no number out in front, so there's no stretching or compressing. So the only thing that's happening is I'm shifting it. So the point went over 4, so right 4, and then it went down 4. And then for my domain and range, it all relates back to that first point. So x started at 4, then it went to 5, then it went to 8, and so forth, and all the little numbers in between. So x is greater than or equal to 4. Y started at -4, then it went up to -3, and a -2, and so forth, and all the decimals in between. So y is greater than or equal to -4. So it all matters at first point. So number 2 is another one that I did with you. 2 plus 4/5 times the square root of x. So I'll put that in the calculator. So I'm gonna go up in the table to find those errors. There it is. So my first point happens to be at 0, 2. And then I don't really see a whole number point after that. So I can try like 4, 3.6, and 1, 2.8. And then 8 is going to be right about 4.3. Oh my gosh. 0, 2, 1, 2.8, 4, 3.6, and then 8 is right about 4.3. So it looks a little bit flatter than number 1 did. So I was multiplying by a number that's less than 1. So I multiply by a number that's less than 1. That's called a vertical compression. And then I added 2. So it should have started at the origin, but it started at 0, 2. So I went up 2. And then for my domain and range, x started at 0, y started at 2, and x is increasing, it's moving to the right, so x is greater than or equal to 0. You can find that in the table. You just look at your x values, they're increasing. And then your y values are also increasing. So the range y is greater than or equal to 2. So number 10, I'm going to start by putting it in the calculator. Negative 2 times, the square root of x plus 5. I'm going to arrow out, plus 4. So I'm going to arrow up until I find error. Okay, so negative 5, 4 is my first point. So I found my points in the calculator in the table. So negative 5, 4. Negative 4, 2. Negative 1, 0. And 4, negative 2. So it looks something like this. So I have a negative now. I have a 2. I have a plus 5 and a plus 4. So I have 4 transformations happening in this equation. The negative, that's what made it flip upside down. Like it should have started at the starting point and then go up, but now it's going down. So that's called a reflection. Then I multiply by a number that's bigger than 1. It's called a vertical stretch. By 2. And then I added 5 on the inside, so it should have started at the origin, but it started over here at -5, so I went to the left 5. And it went up 4. So my domain and range, x could still going to the right, so x is still greater than or equal to that starting x value. So x is greater than or equal to -5. With the range now, that point is on my max point. Everything is below it, so y is less than or equal to 4. So number 12, I have -1/2 times the square root of x minus 1. So I found my error. So the next point, the starting point, is 1, 0. And I have 5, -1. And yeah, the next whole number is going to be way out there. So 1, 0. Then 2 is at -1 point, or -0.5. 5 is at -1. And then 8 is a little after 1. So it's really, really flat. And it's upside down again. So it's a reflection. And it's flat, that's a vertical compression. By 1/2. And it went to the right one. So the domain started at 1 and it kept going on. So the domain x is greater than or equal to 1. The range y is less than or equal to 0. When you have a reflection, your y changes, not your x. With a reflection across the x-axis like this, where it's upside down, your y is what changes, your range.